when I was working in my tutoring job, we had to help students like learn about different coding concepts, different programming languages, and so forth. And there was this one topic that a lot of students struggled with, and it was also one topic that a lot of the tutors struggled with too, helping tutor the students. And this was like a new technology, and it was recently added in the coding bootcamp too. So people who took the coding bootcamp and graduated and became tutors didn't learn about this concept in their curriculum like me. And this top subject was GraphQL. And we'll get questions all the time from students about this. And a lot of times the tutors struggle figuring it out. They'll ask other tutors for help. And for me, whenever I got questions about it, I struggled with it too, and had to ask other tutors for assistance on how I can help the student on this question, because I didn't have the technical skills to help them with. And this topic kept coming up and up, and I kept struggling with it. And then finally I got to the point where I was learning on my own outside of work to learn about GraphQL so I can better help the students out. And then I studied it. There was like different versions of it too. Like this is an outdated version, and then there was a new library for this. So it was a technology that is new, so it was constantly updated. So I had to learn like the old one and then the new one. And then things started to click, and I was able to understand it. And then I was able to help students understand it too after I understood it. I appreciated it. I saw the benefits of it, and I found it interesting. And then not only was I able to help other students with it, I helped other tutors who were struggling with the subject teaching the students. So I was helping my fellow tutors out with this subject. And then I thought it was great. Okay, I learned a subject that helped me do this job, and I can just it's just going to help me for this one job I'm doing right now at the moment. But then I was interviewing for the software engineering job I had, and with the interview I had to do a systems design interview, and it involved GraphQL. And since I studied so much on GraphQL, I was able to ace this interview, and the interviewer approved of me, and that's how I got the job I had as a software engineer. So what I want to come across is that the thing that you struggle with most is something you need to face. You can't hide away from it and pretend like it's not going to be there. Someone else can handle it. You have to dive straight in, even though it's hard, even though you don't feel like it, even though it's like a technology that's constantly evolving, so you understand it one day, and then the next year you might not understand it anymore. So whenever you have a difficult, you have a weakness, you have to head on and face on. I remember, like, just when I was interviewing for jobs, a lot of interviewers would ask about testing. Hey, do you have any experience testing in your code? And this was something we didn't go over in my boot camp, and I didn't really learn much about it. And then whenever this question came up in my interview, I didn't know what to say, and I can see the disappointment in the interviewer's look. So after repeatedly getting this disappointment and rejection, I started like really get to know testing. And then like whenever I do take-home projects for interviews, I add testing in it, and I talk about the different kinds of testing, and they get impressed by it. Also another example was when I was doing the boot camp, I really liked the front end stuff, but then when it came to back end stuff, I didn't really understand it too much. We would have group projects, and I would just kind of pass it on to my other teammates for them to do that part. And then I remember one interview, they asked me to design a database schema, and I told them the wrong one. It was I told them like many to one, and it should have been many. And I saw the disappointment in their eyes when I told them the wrong answer. And then I got better at it. And then my first job when I was doing my apprenticeship program, I was a back-end engineer because I studied so much at it. So it kind of really reinforces like Ryan Holiday's, the obstacle is the way. Whatever you're struggling with most, you kind of have to face on it. You can't ignore your weaknesses because they're going to come back and haunt you. Because these problems, they're just going to come back to your life. So you got to proactively go and figure them out and achieve them, whatever you're struggling with. And not just in code as well, but in life, whatever you're going through. I remember for the longest time when I wanted to lose weight, and I'll do all these different diets, but there was this one diet that I wouldn't do, and that was intermittent fasting, because they talk about how you can eat anything in your diet, but you have to fast. You have to go to periods of time without eating, and I didn't like going periods of time without eating. I couldn't relate to people. Like, I got hungry in the morning, and people talked about, I don't get hungry in the morning, so this wasn't an issue for me anyways. And then they talk about how it helps with their focus, and I don't know, being hungry doesn't help me with my focus. It does the opposite. But then I finally decided to do it, and I finally got breakthrough results with it. I passed through my plateaus with it, and it was the thing that I didn't want to do, but once I decided to do it, I got results. So what about you? What in your life, whatever you're struggling with, if it's something you're coding, technology, a part of full stack development that you're weak on, maybe you're weak on design, database, front end, or anywhere else in your life that you know you have a weakness in that other people seem to get, other people do, you can't really ignore it. And I want to encourage you to dive straight in and get better at it. So that's all I want to talk to you about today. My name is David. I'm a freelance web developer. If you're working on a project, developing an app, developing a website, and need help with it, feel free to message me. Or if you're learning how to code and need help getting through that, getting a job, feel free to message me too, and I can see how I can help you. Thank you.